channel. Today is something really neat. It is a collaboration with Adriana Marquez. She is a fellow YouTuber, and I had the idea to reach out to her and see if she would want to do a collaboration doing a recreation of a makeup look that each other had done. So I chose her purple smoky eye look she did using all Wet n Wild makeup, and she chose my orange monochromatic makeup look, which if you've seen, you kind of know what I'm talking about. If not, I'll link it down below in the description bar, and I will also link her recreation of it as well as her original purple smoky eye look. If you want to see how I did this makeup look, taking inspiration from Adriana's purple Wet n Wild makeup tutorial, then just keep watching. To prime my face, I'm using the Maybelline Master Prime. I use this a ton. I didn't get all of the products that Adriana used because I actually don't have many Wet n Wild products at all. It's part of the reason I chose this video to recreate, because I kind of wanted to try some. So I got a good amount of the products she used, like the eyeshadow palette, the blush, the highlight, the eyeliner, a lot of those things. But for my base, I'm going to go with my usual base that I always do. I did decide though to stick to drugstore as much as possible with my choices that weren't Wet n Wild, just in case you were expecting this to be all Wet n Wild just like Adriana's. I chose all drugstore that I have except for one product, I think. One or two. But for foundation, I'm using the L'Oreal Pro Glow Infallible Foundation. This is top 2 or 3 drugstore foundations for me. So I just apply like this, and then I'll take my Real Technique sponge and blend everything together. So next is a product that is not drugstore. It's the Tarte Shape Tape. I love this stuff, and what I've found with this, I don't know if you can tell from the bottle, I don't have like a comparison, but there's a ton of product in here. I've been using this tube for at least 3-4 months. So it will last a very, very long time, and it's amazing. I'm using the shade Light Sand, which is quite light, but I still love a bright under eye. I just do. I take whatever is left and use this on my eyelids as an eyeshadow primer, and also just to conceal redness or veins. The palette from Wet n Wild did come with a little sample of the eyeshadow primer, which Adriana did use as well but didn't like, so I'm not going to use it. Now I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. I use the shade Fair number 5. I think this is the lightest shade. I put some in the cap here, and I use this to set underneath the eyes like so, and I'm going to leave this powder sitting here while we do the eyes, because then I can just swipe that away if there's fallout. I'm going to do my brows quickly before I do eyeshadow. I always like to do the brows first because it gives me like a structure to my eye shape, so I know the best way to apply the eyeshadow. So my favorite brow products, and I'm not using these because they're drugstore for this tutorial, I use these all the time, every day. These are the L'Oreal brow products. This is their Brow Stylist Definer and their Brow Plumper. This is light brunette for the pencil, and then this is light to medium. So I have an entire brow tutorial on how I do my brows, so I'll probably just speed through this for you. Okay, now for the fun part, which is the eyes, and I'm going to try and go step by step how Adriana did this. I did just watch the video, so it's fresh in my mind, but what I remember her doing, and she had put the primer on at this point, but my primer is my concealer, so I'm just going to make sure there's no creasing. She put this bone shade all over the entire lid and crease to set down the primer. And for me, I'm just setting down the concealer. That way, when we go to apply the darker shades, it will really blend a lot easier. Blending powder on powder is way easier than blending a dark shade of powder onto wet lids. I'm then going to take this shade here, which is like a taupey shade, and I'm going to use that in my crease as a transition shade. So far so good with this eyeshadow palette. I was not sure what to expect. I typically don't purchase eyeshadow palettes from the drugstore. I use a lot of other drugstore products, but when it comes to eyeshadows, I just typically don't gravitate towards them. I spend my money mostly on those types of products, but this might have kind of opened my eyes. Pun intended. Oh, that's so lame. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the little picture. So I have her little intro shot here. She's so pretty. It looks like she took the purple shade all throughout the crease and lid and then deepened it up. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this shade here. On her it looks really, really purple. I definitely got the right palette, right? Yeah, Nude Awakening. I definitely got the right palette. I don't know, it just doesn't look as purple. So I'm gonna take this all over the lid and then up into the crease. Okay, I'm gonna do the same on the other eye. I also never do purple shadows on my eyes, so that's another reason I wanted to choose this video to recreate, because I wanted to make myself go out of my comfort zone, and a purple eyeshadow look was actually requested in the comments of a video, so here you go. I'm gonna go back in with the Bone shade right on the edges here just to clean up those edges and make sure everything is blending, kind of like an ombre effect. Next, I'm going to take this shade. It's a shimmery, you really can't tell in the light, but the shade next to that purple shade is more of a shimmery shade. I'm gonna take that and really try and pack that on the lid. Oh yeah, that's actually working really nicely. I thought I was gonna have to use my finger, but it's applying super easily. I'm gonna go back over with the purple shade as well, just to tone down the shimmer. Adriana kept it a matte look. She first went in with light colors and didn't really like how it turned out, and then went back in with the matte purple shade, but I really wanted to try that shimmery shade, so. Clean brush. Look better, gotta do the same thing here. I will say these are a bit powdery. Like when you go to blend away, sometimes it just kind of like blends away, but for a $6 palette or whatever this is, I'm not complaining. She did deepen up the outer V type area with the darkest shade, which is this black shade that has some serious kick up. But let's see, I'm gonna be gentle here. I noticed you're not gonna be able to see because the palette's black, but when I put my brush in, a lot of powder came up. So that's kind of a warning sign that the same thing could happen on your eye. So what I do in that instance is just kind of tap it in and make sure I'm not like swirling it, because then you'll get black eyeshadow all over. Once I have it patted down, I can start to kind of blend in here. You just have to be careful. Then you can get the best out of any eyeshadow palette. Same with the Subculture palette by Anastasia. It had a similar issue. A lot of it would kick up in the pan, and that's just because it's very pigmented. So you have to learn how to play with different types of shadows and be a little more gentle. Now what I'm gonna do is go with my finger into this purple shade that we originally used in the crease and put that on my lid. Really intensify that color, because this is what Adriana eventually did. I don't know if it's really translating as purple on me. It's still pretty. Okay, now that we're done with the eyeshadow on this half of our eyes, I am going to do a little down here eventually, but I need to swipe away this excess powder. I'm going to set the rest of my face with a powder. This is one more high-end product, I'm sorry, but it's a Bare Minerals pressed powder foundation. This is the shade Camel. It looks really yellow, but I'm just going to lightly set the rest of my face so that when I go in with powder bronzer, powder blush, it doesn't stick to the wet foundation. I do want to finish off the eyes, and I'm going to take this what would this be called? It's a brow brush. They call it a brow brush, but it could also be an eyeliner brush. I'm gonna do exactly what Adriana did. She took a little bit of the black, I believe, very lightly and closely to the lash line, and then she smudged it out with the purple shade. I'm gonna take the purple shade first, again with this brush, and then I will blend it away with one of my blending brushes. I kind of connect up here, if you can see that, and blend with this fluffier brush that I used in the crease prior. Okay, and there's the eyeshadow. Now for eyeliner, Adriana used this Wet n Wild Mega Liner. This is their regular old liquid eyeliner. So I'm just gonna do a wing like Adriana did. This is pretty nice. It's going on really easily because the felt tip has a little bit of a bend to it. Then Adriana used a Wet n Wild mascara, which I didn't pick up. I've used a Wet n Wild mascara before. I actually might have one, but I really didn't like it. I'm going to use my L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara. And Adriana didn't add false lashes, but I'm going to because I just can't not use them. I've used them for so long, and now if I don't use them, I don't feel like the look is complete on me. Like, I'm sure I'd look fine, but I don't know. Just in my mind, I have to use falsies. So I'm going to use these here. These are my favorite Ardell lashes. They're the 600 Cluster Wispies. So I'm just going to apply these off camera. Actually, in my last makeup tutorial video, I go really in depth on how I apply those. So I'm gonna do it off camera here just to save time, but check out that video if you want to see how I apply them. Okay, eyelashes are on. I'm going to take this Almay black retractable eyeliner and just tight line my top, or not tight line my upper waterline. This will make the lashes look thicker. I'm also going to line my lower lash line a little bit. I just thought that the eyeshadow wasn't giving me enough drama. I'm also going to do the waterline as well. So the waterline I'm doing the full length of, but for the actual lash line, I'm only doing it right up here. Then I'm just going to take my, whatever I'm calling this, eyeliner brush and make sure that that eyeliner kind of gets dispersed with the shadow, kind of gets blended together and smudged out. Then one thing I forgot to do is the brow bone and inner corner. I think for the brow bone, all Adriana did was use this bone shade. She kept it matte. So I'm gonna take a very small shader brush like this. It's just a flat brush, so I can really pack on this light color and bring some light to the brow bone. I'm gonna put a little in my inner corner, but I think I'm gonna go in with the highlight we're using over top of that afterwards, but just to kind of lighten it up and get it ready. I'm using the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster. This is just a matte neutral bronzer. And of course, I forgot my brush. I'm just using this Real Techniques sculpting brush, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a contour / bronze. I am going to contour my nose a little bit with this. So I actually just take this brush from e.l.f. It's an eyeshadow crease brush, a really small one. And I just use this and run the bronzer up and down the two sides of my nose just to slim it a little bit. Nothing real serious here. And then I take my big fluffy e.l.f. brush and make sure that that's not too harsh. For blush, this I did purchase, and this is what Adriana used. This is the Pearlescent Pink color of their Color Icon blush. And apply to the cheeks. It's just a nice peachy pink. I always take a little bit on my nose. And there's that. I'm going to set my face so that we can do highlight. I'm super excited to try this. If you are not new to my channel, you know that I always use the NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray, but I ran out and I went to a drugstore that doesn't carry NYX, and I've been dying to try this. This is the Milani Make It Dewy Setting Spray. I've heard a ton about the other Milani setting spray, which is just their regular one, but I love me some dew, so I wanted to get this one and try it out. It is a fine mist, but then it also has like one more pointed squirt in the middle. I don't know how I like that, but... And then I always take my Real Technique sponge, the flat end, and just push that into the skin. This sets down powders, sets down peach fuzz, and really sinks that setting powder into the skin. Now for highlight. This is probably what I was most excited for. This is the Wet n Wild highlighting powder. This is their Precious Petals one, which is just a gorgeous gold shade. Really pretty. So far so good. I really like that. I'm going to do a little on the tip of the nose. Cupid's bow. A little more on the nose because I just love a nose highlight. Here. Last is lips, and I also bought the lip liner that Adriana used. This is their gel lip liner in Bear to Comment. It's really, really smooth applying, which is nice. And then she used one of the Catsuit lipsticks, which I have a darker one, but she used a lighter one and I don't have that one, but I do have this from Maybelline. This is their new Superstay Matte Ink liquid lipsticks, and this is in the shade Loyalist, which I love, and this very closely matches the shade she used, so I figured I would show you guys this one. Alright you guys, this is the finished makeup look inspired by Adriana Marquez. You definitely need to check out her channel. I have linked down in the description bar her tutorial, I can't speak, her tutorial for this makeup look, as well as the makeup look that I did that she recreated, which was my orange monochromatic makeup look. So both of those are linked down below. Go check it out. Go subscribe to her channel. I recently discovered her, really liked her personality. Her looks always come out super nice. She does a lot of drugstore, so go check her out. Those links are down below. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date on all my upcoming videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!